Thank you all for tuning in to Breathing is Highly Dangerous. We are given our first breath, working toward and hoping for the next, all the while fearing our last. Welcome to the show.
No,
The event.
a little bit more grand.
The movement.
That's better, I like that.
The movement of the century.
Well, movement, that may be a little bit much. How about a conquest to ferment the ones ignosable that try to impinge their iniquitous veracity to our thoughts?
Look, man, do you want me to do this or not? Now, either way, I get paid.
Sorry, go ahead.
We've come to ask why, but never satisfied with a simple answer. Discovering the not-so-secret secrets. Playing coy into the ploy, kicking every rock, smiling with joy. If you suffer from
Hippopotamonstros esquipedaliophobia.
please leave now. No one will believe you.
Adjust.
Wait, why is the wind like coming in like two different directions? The water was blowing that way, but then like
The
I see
leaves
the leaves
were-
were literally coming this way. That literally made no sense at all.
We're in the Matrix right now. That's what's happening.
I got the shades for that.
Yeah, you
And
do.
all black.
Morpheus. She's the red pill or the blue pill. That was a great film, actually.
Too bad they stole the fucking idea from somebody else.
From some chick. I mean, if you were to think like life as a simulation, is that like too hard to think about? Welcome back, guys. Thank you for joining and listening again. You know his name already. No need for an introduction. He is who he is.
You guys know his name by now.
He is who he is. I am who I am. We shall begin with the donkey in the room, the election. And there's been a change of guards. Joe Biden has won. What a magnificent thing.
It's whatever. They mean. Every time they say black people are gonna get a hero and a saint, we're always back to where we're at. So
Right.
it's been 400 years now, and until I actually see a real change, then I'm just gonna carry on my day, because I don't know.
Right.
And there's so much stuff that's happened this year that I'm just kind of numb. Like, I'm excited, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's like,
Yeah, the thing I'm sort of taken back about is, like, people are celebrating, like, it's like you just won a war. There is no war. The war hasn't even begun and you're celebrating a win already. Like, nothing has even started yet.
no, what do you mean? There has been a war. Every single president, I swear to God, has gotten, or has been, not exactly the cause of a war, but has been involved in a war to some degree, including Obama. There's always troops overseas. There are always people here, like, okay, not even just the
Oh,
military.
yeah. Oh, I'm talking about like a
Yeah, I know-
domestic.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. That's I was going to my next point.
Okay.
So, besides like international affairs, I mean, like here domestic, like there's always been domestic issues.
Right. And there
Yeah.
always will be,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
there's always people. They always want something. There's always greed. There's always this. Always
Yeah.
that. So it's honestly, I don't foresee it ending with Biden, because we were promised that everything was going to turn around, or I don't know, I knew nothing was really going to. People were saying, oh yeah, basically everything is over when Obama came into office. Mind you, I loved that era. It's quite an innocent era looking back compared to this post-apocalyptic, or apocalyptic, it's not post yet, time that we're living in. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of amazed.
You know what would make Joe Biden the real white knight, the real savior of black people? That is not gonna. I mean, it could happen to a degree. Reparations.
They're not going to do that.
Why wouldn't they? If he wants to thank people so much,
How does it benefit him in any way?
he has get the vote for. He gets a second term if he wants it. Will he last the first term? Maybe will he last 2 terms? I don't know. He's a little bit up there, you know. Like, not saying that being older makes you any less worth, like in terms of being a human, but in terms of capacity to deal with very high, intense, you know, situations. He definitely has the experience, but at this point, is his experience matching up with his capability? So that's, I think, a lot of people were concerned about, and
We're
that's something
definitely
I'm
gonna
concerned
hold them
about.
accountable.
Right, and that's what I think is very necessary.
Very accountable.
Right. I mean,
1994 crime bill signed by him accountable.
right, but how is that? That was like,
That's
yeah,
literally affecting us till this day.
right. So, I don't know. Who cares? It's
We should care we're black.
I care. I mean, who cares about, like, literally nothing's going to change unless people demand the change and to a degree force it, right? So using your mouth and everything, you got to be inside the system and understand how the system works. So not just saying what you want, but actually make contributions to,
That's the problem
changing
with
it.
people. A lot of people are just
A lot.
talking.
Most
heads.
talk, no action. So, I mean, that's something I'm working on personally with another issue that I may or may not discuss on here. Besides that, what else is going on in the world besides the US? Because the US is just as important as every place else, because everyone is equally as important.
Let's see. Well, I don't know really because
A lot of other countries, I realize, like, why aren't we interested in, like, how they're dealing? Well, I think some people are, but to a more of a degree, like, more people should be more interested in how the rest of the world is dealing with, like, COVID and such, right? Because
well, you
It's-
have to understand
it's
the
really
reason why we
changed.
deal with what we deal with is because Americans are very selfish and self-centered. That's what our entire culture is based upon. Be what you want, do what you want, think what you want. It's all about you. That's just our culture. So when you go to other cultures, they think more as a community. Like in my family's home country,
Right.
Guyana, like I noticed in their news, like their politics, they always use words like we or us, whereas here in America, it's
I, yeah.
I am this, I am that, I do this. And like if you disagree with either side or even agree, I've actually agreed with people and they've gotten offended. It's completely bizarre.
Right, some people just like an argument.
Yeah, people here, it's just, I'm not saying that doesn't happen everywhere else. But like
yeah.
here, it definitely is happening to a greater degree compared to other places I've visited. But yeah, like Americans, like I said, is because they have this nationalist viewpoint. And not talking just like white nationalism.
Right.
I mean nationalist as in pride for your country.
Yeah, like
Which
more
isn't
patriotic.
inherently- which isn't necessarily bad to have pride for your country, but it's just
the way
the way
that
it's
you
done.
describe it and the way it works in action. Like if you're saying our country is better just like
Just
purely,
because.
yeah, without like trying to help, like, because what makes a country good, right? It's, I think,
unity, which is what we
the
need
success
right
of its people, right,
Yeah.
as a whole, not the success of individuals. So I think the big problem with Trump was, like, he had
He's
the
extremely divisive.
the nationalistic approach, but in
Without the basis
individualistic
of-
sense,
Without
right?
the basis of facts. Like he just says talking points that appeals to a certain demographic.
I don't think that's not something. I don't think that's the negative of it, because it's an opinion. It's opinionated. Like this is the best. It's an opinion always.
I know, I'm saying he uses his opinions that are not fact based at all as talking points to get a certain demographic.
Right, but that's not. I don't think that's a bad thing. Like you using
You
your
think white nationalism is
no,
not a bad thing?
he didn't promote that.
He definitely promotes. There's a whole book
He
written-
pandered to it, but he didn't promote it.
He's literally a documented white supremacist and a nationalist.
No, he's definitely condemned it on several occasions, but that's
Condemned
beside.
it. I just want to let everybody know Trump never condemned white supremacy. It was just in the news, man.
Right, but
He's literally a white nationalist. I can show you documented evidence right now. He
Right.
never denounced a white supremacy.
well, that's not even the main point I was making. But it like the way he.
Oh Christ, the Umbrella Academy.
Oh, is a new season out or something? Or you were just watching it before?
No, for some reason popped in my feed. It's just the soundtrack. I have not hopped in the bandwagon yet.
Oh, you haven't watched the season at all?
No, I'm aware of it.
Yeah, I watched part of the first season. Whenever I start a new show, I don't finish it. Like until because I don't really watch stuff anymore, like that, like very deeply. Like I know the new season came out and
Okay, so sources say that he's condemned it, but then at the same time it said that he directly supports it. I mean, he literally receives money from white supremacist groups,
right, but that's not his fault. He's not asking for it.
but he's accepting it.
But that's like
He's
Joe
literally accepting
Biden accepting money, getting money from
if
like.
that were Obama accepting money from the Black Panthers, people would be all over him and call him an extremist. Why would a politician...
Black people don't really donate to politics, so how many
Dude,
black people do you know
it's
that
the
donate
facts.
to political parties?
I've met some.
I mean, how many do you, in terms of a
In
broad
numbers, I
spectrum?
have no idea. I don't really ask people those
That's why.
questions.
That's why I think in terms of what is it called? A minority versus a majority, which.
President Trump refusal to explicitly condemn white supremacist groups during Tuesday.
But that's a personal issue. That's a personal problem that people have. Is like, what is going to be enough for you? It's like, hey, send all these people to jail. They haven't committed a crime because they're technically expressing the First Amendment rights.
That's another thing. He's literally Hitler. Everything that Hitler's done, this guy has done. He's so evil. Like, why are you sending people...
Hitler wants them to participate in that behavior. Hitler said explicitly, he did call to action like, do this,
He did the
do
same
this.
thing. He said if you see these Black Lives Matter supporters, he's like, beat them up. Do whatever you want.
Oh, did he say that?
He's literally, I'm trying to tell you, you can't rationalize this guy. He's a white nationalist.
I mean, there's rationalizations. There are rationalizations.
This guy's supporting... Also,
I'm not defending it. I'm not defending I'm not defending him personally. I'm defending
There is no rationalization.
what do you call it? Reputation, from a public reputation. And my feelings are not involved in
What are
what
the facts?
I'm observing.
What are the facts?
So the fact between the difference between, I don't want to go into it, but the fact the
are
difference
the
between
facts?
Trump and Hitler, I'm not defending it. So no, never mind. I'm not walking into that. No,
Because I know what I'm talking about.
If you want to do the research, you can. So that's not something.
Where are these sources coming from?
So the sources is just.
Breitbart?
No, it's just through source. It's just through observation. So it's not a particular one source, because I'm not going to one source. I'm looking at all
An
sources.
observation could be a skewed viewpoint.
It could be, but
So it's not facts.
I have a skewed viewpoint based on everyone else's viewpoint.
So if it's skewed, then there's
Right, but
an
everyone's-
opinion, and it's not based on facts.
Right,
The
everything's
fact
an
of the matter
opinion.
is this guy is a-
I don't know Trump, so everything I can think about him is an opinion, because I don't know him personally. Therefore, and so is everyone
Therefore,
else's.
It's not a fact.
Right. But in terms of what people tend to represent, one side and this side, but this is also true. That is true, yet this is also true. So these two things are true, which doesn't take away from truth from either side. But if you see both truths, then you're going to think about this truth differently, because this is also the truth.
What?
Right. So there's still two things that are correct. But you're saying only this is correct and that is false. But if both of these
But it is true.
both of these things are true. One is you're lying to me by telling me the truth,
Oh,
but
here's
also
one
lying.
perfect example. So in 1973,
No,
federal
that's
officials
definitely
found
true.
evidence that
Yep.
Trump had refused to rent to black tenants and lied to black applicants about whether apartments were available, among
Sure.
other accusations. In 1980, a former employee at Trump's castle accused another one of Trump's business of discrimination. When Donald
Absolutely.
and Ivana came to the casino, bosses would order all the black people off the floor.
Right.
1989, a controversial case that's been characterized in modern day lynching, 4 black teenagers and 1 Latino. Wait, they're all black. I don't know why they consider Latino as a. I'm Latino. You know what? That's a different discussion. Anyway,
I mean,
the
yeah.
Central Park were accused of attacking and raping a jogger in New York City. Trump immediately took charge in the case, running an ad
And
over
saying,
papers,
"Bring back the death penalty."
Bring back our police. The teen's convictions were later vacated after he spent 7 to 13 years in prison. The city paid $41 million settlement to the teens. 1991, by John O'Donnell, former president of Trump Plaza Hotel, Casino City in Atlantic City, quoted Trump's criticism of a black accountant. "Black guys counting my money, I hate it. The only kind of people I want counting my money are short guys that wear Yarmuks.
Yarmulke.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jewish guys.
Yeah,
That's what he said.
Yeah, Jewish guys every day.
Which is, yeah.
And I think that the guy is lazy, and it's probably not his fault because laziness is a trait in blacks. It really is. I believe that. It's not anything they can control. 1997. Okay, let's see. 1992.
That's a racist. That's racist thought.
Literal documented stuff that he is saying.
No, absolutely. I believe all that to be true. Right?
Some Native American reservations operating casinos shouldn't be allowed because they don't look like Indians to me.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, the list goes on and on.
No, absolutely. And those things are true if you consider them to be a truth, right?
They are true. Because
Right,
there's
so-
literally video of him saying it.
Right. And if there's video of him saying that, and I'm saying there's video of him saying these other things, why you take, like saying...
Bring it up. Bring it up. Bring it up.
Okay. Okay, so what, of condemning white supremacists? That was the original point. Because I'm not trying to defend a person that I don't think should be defended, right?
I mean, remember, he's a man of contradiction. He says one thing and doesn't even do it. I'm gonna build a wall to keep all the Mexicans
Right,
out.
but if you
He doesn't even keep his line
right.
about that. And of course, I don't defend that. But like,
All right,
I mean,
but
I could say.
so are you? So that
I mean, I could say one thing, but it doesn't change.
Exactly.
I could say that I'm fully white right now.
right, but if
But
you
it
can
doesn't change the
no.
fact that I'm black.
Okay, so if you're considering that, right? So how are people allowing people to change the actions? So if you thought there's one
But
thing,
he's
so
not gonna
is
change the
no,
actions.
is a racist ever going to be able to be not racist?
Once a racist.
Once you're racist, you're always racist. So people aren't allowed to change. So what's the point in bringing out and mentioning they're racist
But
and
he's
saying
not
this needs to
gonna
stop?
change.
If this person's not going to stop being racist, why you keep talking about this person being racist and saying
what?
you need to stop doing that? If this person, or you're not going to allow that person to change, in your mind, this person's always going to be racist. They're always going to have done racist stuff, right? If that's history, history is
The
history.
thing is, he needs to be taken out of power.
Right,
Most people
sure.
to get changed. It's not that I'm trying to change him.
No,
I
but
think he just needs
sure,
to be taken out.
in that same sense.
It needs to be punished.
Right, sure, but if you're doing that, why give? If this racist have been given a chance, and we know what a racist does, and this person, and that wasn't in politics, by the way, so that wasn't affecting the lives of millions of black people in America, right? Those actions were personal actions and business actions that affected very few people that applied for his buildings. And like,
You?
no, how many black people?
On his list?
Right, no, the black people that
Who knows how
applied
many
for the.
people that had tried to apply for his apartments. It could have been thousands.
It could have been
Tens of
thousands, but are there thousands or tens of thousands compared to the millions of black people? So the greatest majority of black people were not applying to live in a Trump Tower, and they
That
do.
doesn't change anything.
It doesn't
No,
change. It doesn't.
change anything.
Exactly. That doesn't change anything, and it's still wrong. But look at Biden that was in office and placed policies that literally affected the lives of every single black person and every single black community. Right? So it's not, both of the actions are reprehensible
So, but he's also
and
still
evil.
done actions
and
that
evil.
have
But
affected us.
why do you allow Joe Biden to change and say, oh, now I can do this. I worked with the first black president, so I can do this, and he cannot no longer be a racist, even though he passed policies that literally affected our lives and to this day are affecting our lives.
I know that.
But Trump did things in business practice wise, but then in action, what has he done that has negatively affected our lives? That he has done. That he
You know
has
what
done.
he's done.
Policies that he's implemented that has affected black lives negatively. And this is not defending Trump, because I don't think anybody should, I don't like government. So I don't think anybody should be in control of anybody. I think you should be in control of
One thing that
yourself.
he literally directly did is create such a divisive and hostile environment.
He didn't create that, people did.
He literally says things that
He didn't-
literally makes
right.
things more hostile than they need to be. People were already racist, but he brought that out. He literally creates policy.
Yeah, he definitely he made it through his nationalistic, individualistic viewpoint on patriotism. He did that, whether intentionally or non-intentionally, because we will never have the
See,
facts
and I know
of whether that
both-
was
I know
intentional or
both-
non-intentional.
I don't think either one of them are like. I mean, they both have flaws, but
Yeah.
it's a situation where we have to choose the lesser of two evils.
But why is the lesser the one that are affecting our lives till this day? Why is that lesser than someone that has not done that same contribution.
Well, for one, he's still
Which
not
one's the lesser? But if you have to
Joe is
realize which one is
obviously the
actually the
lesser
lesser,
Joe is the lesser of the two evils.
I think it's if you're using rationale, that's irrational because that's not lesser at all. In terms of experience, yes, he has more experience, but experience in what? He has experience in politics. And is there ever going to be a non-corrupt politician? No. So if we already disagree with how policy has been throughout history, why are we bringing history into our future? He was history and caused this for our present. So why are we going to now let him
What's the solution then?
have someone else? If you want someone in charge of you, choose someone else that is not going to be, has not contributed to our demise, right? So choose someone else. So should Trump have been the re-elect? No. Should it have been Joe? No. Should it have been someone else? Yes, but until that person presents themselves and people understand and want to implement change into their own life, that's what it's so individual. Like, and that's why the world is it's so simple, but people are so used to this system and how the system works that they're comfortable in abiding by this structure and they're not trying to change it because it's too difficult. And someone has to be the first one to step out and say, okay, this is not right. And they have to be willing to take the risk of like a character assassination from people bringing stuff out of your closet. And that's what's going to continue to happen. And it needs to happen to a degree, but are people going to forgive one another? It's all about forgiveness. It's about your heart. And are you going to allow someone to change from actions? Because someone that did something to hurt you in the past can be so instrumental in your healing process because you might need that person. You're going to need to forgive them. They're going to need to forgive themselves. They're not going to need to apologize to you, but you can't expect them to because you're not entitled to anyone else's, personal. You don't have control over what other people do. You only have control of yourself. So the choices you make are strictly, implicit. I don't know. Strictly affect the way you live your life.
Us, like specifically, or them?
Everyone. This applies to everyone. But if we're considering our situation here, we have to. If black people as a whole, if we want change in America, right? Currently, with the system, if you want to work with this current system, which should we work with this current system? No. But are you going to because it's comfortable? Yes. So considering that, I don't want to, so that's one of my plans, to extradite myself. No, but for the people, so I'm not telling anyone to do anything. I'm just saying a suggestion. So for black people or people that are victimized by this current society, in order to work inside the society, you need to put people in charge of the society that are going to not be destructive. So analyze that. People really need to do their diligence. People don't put in enough effort to do their research on people. And that's just a human thing, a laziness. It's a human thing. It's not a black thing. It's not a Latin. It's not a Mexican thing. It's not a white thing. It's not a rich thing. It's not a poor thing. Most people are lazy and do not and would rather have someone else do the heavy lifting than do it themselves. Like and when you do it, you're gonna get experience. You're gonna get muscles and you're gonna get strength. So we need to do that with our mind and with the things we implement into and the changes we want to make. So we need to go the hard way in order to have that experience and have that strength to be able to deal with the more simple stuff that we could fix. And so it's really a game, and people are playing it, and other people are cheating. And are you going to keep playing a game with a person that is cheating that will never let you win? So we are playing a game right now that no matter what we do, the rules are always changing and your opponent's always going to cheat. So you have no possible way of winning. And for so many years, this, like a person, like if you're considering life as a game, or for black people, minorities, right? Or black people especially, you've been set up, right? So at the beginning of the start of the game, it's this new game. Everyone's playing by the same rules. And then someone decides, okay, no, I created this game and I'm making the rules. And and you all have to apply by these rules that we are going to change. Give me a second. white people decided to change the game, change the rules, and made black people contribute to this game and help white people win, right? So we can't even play the game yet because we're helping you get ahead right now. So fast forward 100 years, okay, now we're gonna let you play, but we're already so far ahead. And whenever you make leeway, we're going to mess up your scores, right? Or like somehow make it that we have another upper hand. And whenever you try to do anything, we're just going to mess up. We're going to cheat, or we're going to stay ahead. So why are black people still playing the same game that you're not going to win? So we need to play a different game. And are we going to play with each other? We could, but they're going to say that's racist. So right. So if we were to do the same thing, which you shouldn't want to have to do, but since people aren't changing, you need to change yourself. So if we're not willing to change ourselves, they're not going to be willing to change. Because, right, so if we're still playing this game and allowing ourselves to be cheated, they're not going to stop cheating us. Right, so we need to go and restructure ourselves and
Of course, we're windy. Have a monsoon right now. Tornado. Perfect. Right, perfect time for transformation.
I mean,
Never this windy. Just because you're originally from Chicago, you brought the windy city.
Right, the windy city, right?
Yeah.
It's God saying, "Oh,
Go
blow
back
that
home."
out." It's bringing the fire. It needs to be the oxygen to be good. Blew it up. I mean, but if you can say, I mean, what do you think about that? Because I don't know if I said everything I wanted to say, but to shorten it all.
I mean, just to summarize it extremely brief. So basically you're saying system is always going to be the same until we as black people make the conscious, which goes back to our last episode.
It does.
And the one before that.
Right.
Where you have to go in the system, directly make a change because people are lazy as hell, and somehow find a way to make a change while you're in the system.
Right. But
That's what it comes down to.
It does.
Which is, again, like you said, a personal choice.
And it's so, like, it's...
See, me, I'm actually willing to do that. And
Right,
I'm in the
so-
process of doing it now.
Okay, cool. All right, so we'll work together on that. Yeah, I mean, depending on the tactics. I mean, because...
Again, but and one thing, you know this from playing video games.
Sure.
If you have, if you have a strategy, we'd be complete idiots to talk about in this podcast. Then our enemies would know.
There is no...
our
Yeah, we're
strategy.
not talking about the strategy.
Yeah, and I know that. I'm
Yeah,
just saying, I'm just saying for them in general.
never. Right, yeah.
Yeah, when I say you, I just mean
Yeah,
like, in general.
one, yeah, of course.
so-
that's and that's what's so important. Like, people understanding who you can trust. And I digress.
Yeah, but it's not even just with this, but like anything in life.
Anything in
The
life.
Video games specifically. Don't
Principles
tell the
apply to
freaking-
everything.
Yes. Don't tell the person, or playing chess. Let's just start. Don't tell the other person.
Your next
I'm about to
move.
move this to here. that
Let
to
them
there.
think 5 steps ahead, and you think 15 steps ahead, right? You're playing, or play a different game. Like you're playing checkers. You start playing chess. Like it's literally, it's so redundant. So people are so complacent and content, and comfortable. Because, and it's not like things haven't been done in society to make us feel that way or make us feel like there is no opportunity. Well, there's definitely so many abundant hindrances that just deteriorate the mind throughout time. Like the mind and the strength and the willpower of the black mind has been dwindled down like so much through like societal structures, right? So once you realize that you can break out of that, because who says you cannot change your life in an instant? That is up to you if you want to make changes to your life. Like, and it doesn't. I think too many people are trying to wean off of doing certain things. Like, why are you weaning off of drinking alcohol when the alcohol is killing your liver? You are going to die. This is what is strict. This is what is is directly contributing to your death. Why are you going to slowly stop drinking the poison instead of cutting the poison off
Just
completely?
like people that do drugs all the time and then complain about they're always sick.
Right.
It's exactly the same thing. I just changed the variable.
Yeah, it does. But you caused your own dependency on that drug in the first place. You did not have to take that drug. Like, you did not have to become an addict. You became an addict because you made a choice to take it the first time and take it again and take it again until you became mentally dependent on it. Because physically, you're going to be dependent on it if you have to wean off certain things because your body is going to die. But you put yourself in that position to where you are vulnerable, right? People expose themselves to the things in life that they don't need to expose themselves to. And once you know where you need to protect yourself and the people you can let your guard down around, that is very imperative, important, and necessary for survival and living, right? So the difference between survival and there's and thriving, like, right? And I think people get wires crossed, and people are confused about what you need, what you want, what you can do, what you should do, and yeah, that's about it. Have you got any final words? Sort of conclude, wrap it up.
Shout outs to Base God. I'm just kidding.
Who's Base God?
Lil B, remember? Gosh, you live under a rock. But yeah, we appreciate you watching, and hopefully you'll be here for the next episode. Why does everybody want to message me while I'm doing this? But yeah.
I would really love interaction on this. If you found anything important, I'm definitely going. I'd love to hear your contributions to any corrections you may have for statements that have been made. Anything you want to add, and let's make this a conversation as well as talking about actions. But we'll keep that in a tight circle. So contact myself or OG through our social medias. I'll have them linked below. Engage with us. And I appreciate you all listening or watching. And we will see you all in the next one. Be blessed, stay blessed, make good decisions, and know what you need.
30 minutes goes by wicked fast.
It does.
Like, what the fuck?
I mean, it's because I started talking. I will talk in paragraphs. Like, if I get on something and it's passion, I will keep talking about it.